I say it all the time. You want information in Israel, the only place to go is jns.org. They got a roster of great people. And Alex bestowed the huge honor upon me of speaking at his very first ever International Policy Summit. Folks, the last 30 minutes. You want to talk about great Jews? Not these people in the mayor's task force. The last 30 minutes. Alex Traiman, Ron Dermer, Mike Huckabee, Mark Levin, and Sid Rosenberg. Now, Huckabee's not Jewish, but that's a great group of folks. So the mayor says, you can be pro-Palestine and pro-Israel. Honestly, have you seen any evidence of that? Any?
I mean, the mayor said, you can be pro-something. It doesn't make you anti-something else. But if you're pro-Hamas, Hamas's charter is to eliminate the state of Israel.
Yeah.
So those two things don't really go together. I mean, I think there's some people in New York, they don't know the situation. They don't know what Israel is and how remarkable a country it is. And they say, I don't know too much about it. Why should the Israelis occupy the Palestinians? It's all I've ever heard. So I'm pro-Palestine. I'm not anti-Israel just because it's ignorant. But I think anybody that actually knows what's going on over there and they say that they're pro-Hamas, that is anti-Israel in its essence.
Correct. So it's an idiotic and stupid statement and dangerous because now you're encouraging those people. Go, march again, rally again. We're all about free speech. Go do your thing.
I mean,
it's okay.
We saw what happened in the city. I mean, especially at the university campuses. These were not peaceful sit-ins. I was just talking to somebody who was dealing with the situation at NYU and how the president over there was ordering arrests because the protests were violent. Okay, there was crime taking place on the campuses, storming buildings, making the mayor in that clip, he said, free speech is important, but they didn't want Jewish kids to go to class.
Right.
Okay, so, it's
laughable. It's so stupid, it's laughable, to be honest. You're laughing. Let's move off of this. Let's move to the president, okay? This is a huge trip to the Middle East. He went to Saudi Arabia, was in Riyadh. Very nice to the Crown Prince. Going to Syria, Qatar, that's coming up, the UAE. Now, I saw something on your website, jns.org, that a lot of Israelis were very upset that President Trump decided to remove the sanctions from Syria. Let me just say this in defense. And am I a Trump suck-up? 100%. But what folks have to understand, even Jewish folks, is he's not the president of Israel. I don't think Trump has to do anything else to prove how much he loves Israel and the Jewish people. I think he's done it already. We're there. He's not the president of Israel. That's Bibi's job. He wants to make sure there's peace in the region. If he can get the Arabs, I know it's hard and it may be impossible, I don't know, but his intent is to get the Arabs to be okay with Israel so there is legitimate peace in the region. And if that means sucking up a little bit to Syria or even a place like Qatar, which is a horrible place harboring terrorists, he's doing it to protect Israel. You understand that?
The president's trying to remake, like you said, the entire region, and we saw that with the signing of the Abraham Accords. Nobody thought that could be done, but Israel normalized relations with Bahrain, with the United Emirates, and that was all done with the blessings of Saudi Arabia. The president's looking at the region, and he's looking at Israel, and he says, not every country in the region is going to be an enemy or has to be an enemy. He's saying to Israel, choose your enemy. And Israel is very clear about who the enemy is. It's Iran and their funding of terror all around the region, destabilization of many countries, and their pursuit of illicit nuclear weapons. So you can't have every country be an enemy. And I think the president looks at Qatar, and obviously in Israel, they look at Qatar very differently than the president, and many members of the president's staff, and Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff, and Trump himself, they all have business development in Qatar because Qatar plays a double game. On the one hand, they're funding Hamas, they're hosting Hamas leaders. On the other hand, they're spending money all over the world and investing in business and everything like that, and especially putting money into the universities. But who was putting money into the universities before Qatar? The Saudis. Just look at Georgetown University, the Center for Christian Muslim Understanding. I mean, what's the Muslim Christian understanding in the Middle East? Okay, in a Muslim majority country, it's like, okay, Christians, you're dead, or we're treating you very badly. But this center funded by the Saudis, okay. But what did we see? the Saudis changed their tune and they've become more modern. And so Trump is kind of like hedging on this double game of the Qataris and saying, okay, you want to be project yourself as a moderate force. I'll give you the opportunity to prove it. Come towards me and I'll come towards you. And let's work together to squeeze Hamas. And Trump, you're going to see he's going to allow Israel to focus on Iran. And then you're going to see all these other normalization agreements, including Saudi, including Qatar, potentially even including Syria and Lebanon, signed with Israel, normalization agreements.
So you agree with me then? Yes, there are deals in place. There's money here. I agree with that.
You have to watch and wait.
Right.
Yeah.
It's too early. So on a date, for example, when the president gets Edan Alexander home, and you know what's funny? The marginal Trump supporter thanked Hashem. The people that hate Trump thanked Hashem. The people like me thank Trump and Hashem. That's great. Thank them both. But you notice the people that don't love Trump, thank you, Hashem. I find that to be lazy, easy. Let's just thank God. No, it wasn't God. It was Trump. Okay? Trump got that deal done, and he deserved the thanks along with God. Thank them both. But on a day where Edan Alexander was going home, all the marginal Trump supporters and non-supporters focused on was the airplane. We have no idea if he's even going to take the airplane. And the airplane is never going to be his. It's going to be part of his presidency, and then it's over. But either way, an airplane takes precedence over a beautiful kid from Tenafly who Trump got to go home? I was horrified by that.
Yeah, I mean, it's such an incredible scene to get even one of the hostages back. The fear here is that this is the last American citizen who was a hostage, and we saw how much leverage, Trump tried to put on the Qataris in order to get back this last American hostage. And so the fear is that, you might not get other hostages because is the president going to put, as much pedal to the metal to get back hostages that are not American citizens? Like, we need to have 20 more ceremonies like we had with Eden Alexander. But I agree with you. Until the plane is delivered, it's not delivered. I don't think it's going to get delivered in the end of the day, even though I'm not in the prediction game. But obviously, getting back a hostage is really, really important. It's big. It's much, much bigger than any airplane or anything else.
Right. That was my argument. So he may take the plane, he may not take the plane. I understand people are upset. Why would you take the plane from a terrorist country? He's in Qatar. Forget about taking the plane. He's there because he realizes this, folks. You got to listen to me. I am smarter than most of you, okay? He's nice to Putin. Not because he likes Putin, but when he was president, unlike the guy before him, Obama, and the guy after him, Biden, Putin didn't attack. He's nice to little rocket man in North Korea. Because guess what? That guy doesn't fire off rockets towards Japan. He's nice when he has to be the ping in China so they can make a deal. So he's going to be nice to Qatar and Syria and all these places because he wants Israel to be safe and selfishly, there is money there. But Trump has proven that sometimes when you're nice to the people that you don't want him to be nice to, that turns out to be effective diplomacy. Tell me I'm wrong.
Trump is the author of The Art of the Deal. These are all negotiation tactics. You see what's being said in public. You don't see what's being said behind the closed doors. I think it's also really important to look at what Trump is not saying on this trip. Unlike the Biden administration, he's not demanding an end to the war in Gaza. He knows full well that Israel's about to launch a major offensive in the Gaza Strip, and he's not telling Israel not to do that.
What do you mean about to? Didn't they? Yesterday was pretty. I don't know if they killed Sinwar's brother. We have not confirmed that yet, but I thought yesterday Israel did a lot of damage.
Israel's inside the Strip, and they are fighting. You're going to see when the president gets back to the United States, tens of thousands more troops entering the Gaza Strip, a much more serious operation, which is going to be focused on really taking over the entirety of the Gaza Strip, something which wasn't done when Biden was the president and had to wait until now because of the embargo of weapons that was on Israel. Very, very serious and heavy embargo that did so much damage to Israel's war effort, and it's not even being heavily reported. But Trump, one of the first things he did in office was to sign the release of a lot of weapons and equipment like D9 bulldozers and things like that Israel really needed for this job. And it's only now that they're fully stocked And so you're going to see Israel now go in, and the difference is that they're not going to go into a place, take it over, and then leave and go to the next place. They're going to go in, take over a place, and stay there and establish full military control over the Gaza Strip until Hamas is eradicated.
Last 2 minutes, the marginal Trump supporter, the people that hate Trump, they love reporting on this rift between Trump and Bibi. I don't know, I don't see it. When I was in Israel 2 weeks ago, there's a video on my social media of me leaning over. It was Yom Ha'atzmaut at Tulip Alex Winery and telling Bibi, hey, Trump just appointed me. You can see in the video how happy and excited he was. He said to me, Mazel Tov, I look forward to working with you, Sid. 2 days ago, Bibi sent out a release thanking President Trump for getting Edad Alexander home. I don't know. There was a rift. Yes, there was. Since Trump won, there's no rift, is there?
This is a fully manufactured story, and you have this really interesting confluence where you have the Israeli left, which just hates Netanyahu to the core, who are trying to project a rift between Netanyahu and his greatest ally, which is the President of the United States. And they're doing that because they don't want Israel to win the war. They don't want Israel to take out Iran's nuclear facilities. They don't want Netanyahu to succeed to bring all the hostages home, because if he does that, if he does those three things, he's going to get reelected. He's going to be in office for many more years. And then at the same time, you have the isolationist right in America who are trying to pick off Trump from Netanyahu because they don't want to see the United States get involved in a military engagement in Iran. So these two sides are just leaking these unsourced reports to the press that there's a huge rift between Netanyahu and Trump. But the truth is that the two sides, both Trump and Netanyahu, understand exactly what's going on. And just look at the statements of Trump, of Netanyahu, of Steve Witkoff, of U.S. Ambassador Mike Huckabee. They're all stating that this rift story is absolutely preposterous.
I agree it is. So on the way out, you're here basically working for JNS. What are you here for this week?
Speaking, we have a few speaking gigs, going to some synagogues in the region, conferences, and certainly trying to raise funds. We're a 501c3 nonprofit. We don't write what we write because of advertising. We write what we write because it's right, and we're doing that day after day. And the readers support us, and we're going around and trying to get our strategic plans funded for the coming year.
So folks wanted to help on you today. They just go to jns.org.
jns.org. Nice donate button at the top of the page. Reach out.
Do it, folks. Do it. I hope you're still proud of the effort you had at the hotel, the Waldorf Astoria in Jerusalem a couple of weeks ago. Man, those 2 days were nothing short of spectacular. And you're spectacular, so it's always good to see you. I feel like I see you a lot. I kind of like that. We'll see what happens with ZOA. I may be back in Israel sooner than later. So I'll keep you abreast, but good luck with JNS. Welcome to New York City again. We love you. Thank you,
Sid,
Alex.
It's great to be here. The city looks okay.
Okay,
they're taking down the scaffolding. Feels good. I wish the sun will come out today, but
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
And let's go Knicks. You're a big Knicks fan.
Let's go Knicks.
Let's go Knicks. Alex Traiman right there, folks. He is the CEO. He's a tremendous man. CEO of JNS.org. Go to JNS.org this morning and donate today. That's the best news source in Israel.